Something's gone a bit weird because I've just lost this.
It's broken.
Hopefully something is working because my studio entry on YouTube Live has completely just frozen up. So I'm now going to randomly press buttons and hope I'm actually going to get in there. View in live control room. Connect streaming software to start preview.
Yeah, we're live. Woohoo!
Well, we do appear to be on screen. The first question is, can you see us and can you hear us? Please, somebody tell us. Let's see if this button works. So if I press that, we should see it on our screen. Hi from Stuart in Guernsey. Geisley. Oh, sorry, Stuart. Geisley. AV 5 out of 5. Brilliant. Finally, I've got something working. You've just spent the... Well, why do I need my glasses?
So you can read the screen.
No, I've given you a nice little screen. As usual, we've done the usual thing. We've decided to add things and change things. I've just realised there's a microphone sitting just over my head. Hello, microphone. I'm not going to change it because it seems to be working.
At least it's your head, not mine this time.
All right. She's just spent the last week explaining to me how she's got a sore head because I dropped a microphone on it last week. And I didn't do it deliberately.
You did it live.
I did it live. No. These things happen. There will be a blooper reel later on in the year.
Yep.
It's the only way we can get bloopers. Anyway, E-Stim Systems is live here. We had a fantastic day yesterday watching Joanne and her team creating TV madness. Fantastic live stream. Lots going on there. And we now have to try and replicate something vaguely along the lines. And E-Stim Systems has been a bit busy. For some reason we keep selling stuff and you nice people out there keep buying it. But we have had a little bit of wonderful news. The first one is, and unfortunately there's no sound to go with this because I didn't have time to sort it out.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. We are up for another award. We are up for the Adult Entertainment's biggest night, XMA Awards over in the US for... it's the first time we've been up for this particular award. We have been up for a few awards in the US before. And can you remember what the award was for?
Fetish product, I think.
No, I think it was best innovative
It's either innovative
toy.
or...
I can't remember. I should have written these down.
You should have written. Where's your list?
I lost my list. I haven't written anything down, so this is all going to go completely wrong at some point, especially with this microphone. It's driving me up the wall, but I'm not going to touch it.
At least it's not my fault.
Hello, Dave. Oh, Dave is in the house.
Hi, Dave.
We're going to have to do that little bit, the little video bit with, I can't do that, Dave. Dave, you're famous. We're going to make you famous.
And I see Toothless and Joe around.
Toothless and Joe around.
Where's my popcorn?
You can't have any popcorn.
You promised me popcorn.
I promised you lots of things, but you're not getting any popcorn.
Okay.
Anyway, what's the other piece of news?
We got banned.
Oh yeah, we got banned. Nice little graphic here. OnlyFans, you know that very interesting and highly erudite video YouTube-y equivalent, but for adults, banned us before we even got started. Why did they ban us? Well, to backtrack a little bit, a couple of people online had suggested that if we wanted to do more interesting videos about how to use our kit, and it is something we're looking at, then we needed somewhere to host it. And unfortunately, YouTube, great company YouTube, we love YouTube, being nice to YouTube today, we can't put some of the material that we would like to put on YouTube because it would be classed as way over 18 plus and they just pull the channel. So we're trying to stick within the rules. So we thought, okay, let's create an OnlyFans for free. We weren't going to charge people for this. And because that's what OnlyFans seems to do. Lots of people take their clothes off and show parts of their body. And we thought, well, we could be a little bit more adult. So I opened up an OnlyFans account. And about 2 days later, they informed me that the account was being closed, which was entertaining because I hadn't actually put anything on it. I just filled out the form and put the details for E-Stim Systems. And I replied back and said, could you tell me why? Commercial. Don't allow commercial. And you're like, you don't allow commercial. Could you define what you mean by commercial? Because according to your T's and C's, it actually says business users are allowed. But evidently we're not a business user, we're commercial, which is really, really confusing. I think it was possibly the fact we were going to do it and not charge anyone, and therefore they weren't going to make any money out of us. But anyway, we got banned from OnlyFans. And then we got another email from them informing us that not only had we been banned, we were not allowed to use any of their facilities, and failure to do so would be a breach of their terms and conditions. Which was like, you've banned us already, so you're just double banning us? Anyway.
We were just naughty.
We were just naughty. So, yeah, sadly, there will be no E-Stim systems on OnlyFans. And actually, strange enough, E-Stim on video is quite an interesting area, because a lot of people, and this came up in one of the chats last night with Joanne's team, things like Chatterbait, they see E-Stim and they'll ban the channel. You can't use E-Stim within Chatterbait's rules on Chatterbait. You can stick a cucumber with spikes. Oh God, I've just said spikes. The spikes are back. Someone will be backy. You can't use... Okay, why is that on there and not on there? I don't know. I'm just going to check something is working. So if I press that button there...
He's broken it again. In my belly, yep.
In my belly. Yeah, it is working. Modern technology, as they say. But you can't use E-Stim on Chatterbait. Why not? You can stick a cucumber with spikes into someone's posterior and make money out of it. But you won't allow us to use legitimate E-Stim on Chatterbait. Why? Anyway, end of rant.
Is that your Stampy Pants rant?
Is that my Stampy Pants rant? No, it's not my Stampy Pants rant. Other news. Oh, look, we've got people here.
We have got people. Hello, people.
In my belly, Caz. Let's change that quickly. Just bear with this. We actually nicked this system that we're currently using from Joanne's team because it looked really good, and
hence why we're still learning.
And it's still working.
Look, Joanne, spikes again. Yep,
yeah,
we like
spikes again. No, we don't like spikes.
I do.
No, we don't like spikes. Anyway, other piece of fantastic news. If you haven't seen it already, you need to go and watch it. But we did a video a couple of weeks ago with the lovely Liz, who is very female and very goth and very American, and had never actually tried E-Stim. Well, never tried our kit. She'd actually tried a TENS unit a couple of times, and she'd used a TENS unit for just normal use. But she'd never tried our stuff. So we thought, we'll bring her in and we'll get her on camera and just explain E-Stim to her. And it was a blast. Unfortunately, there was a massive blooper reel, which you can't show because it just went... It was most of the time us giggling.
I think you should have some of the bloopers because some of them were fun. Yes, we did educate her.
We did more educate her. Yes, you educated her. And it turned out to be the most popular video that we have ever produced on YouTube. It is now our #1, which, thanks to Liz, yep, great, fantastic. The good news is she's coming back. We've got her scheduled in for early December, so we'll hopefully be recording the session then, and then you might even get it as a little bit of a Christmas present. But yeah, there will be a Liz Talks E-Stim for Women 2.
I think we need the bleep.
I
think we need the bleep button.
Well, we don't do it live. That would be really dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, live could be really dangerous.
Lovely reading, Liz.
Oh, look, we've got... Let's see if this works. You're not working now.
We broke it again. He's broke it again. It was an awesome video with Liz. It was
so ... It was so nice to see her reactions. We're looking forward to part 2. Yep, so are we. I've actually had to clear out the entire day because I'm not going to get any work done apart from that. But yeah, it was a fantastic video. And linked to that, we've actually had a couple of other chats with a few other people. We had a very lovely lady who I've admired for years on social media and met a couple of times, initially at the BBB, a lovely Alana Fiendish, who is lovely. That's all I can say. She's just wonderful.
We had great fun.
Yes, you two had great fun.
We had a brilliant time chatting.
We had a chat, and then we decided we were going to go out to dinner. And yeah, we had some. It was
some interesting
day
conversations.
Amongst friends.
I can imagine the people on the table next to us.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Roy. That is just not acceptable. You're going to have to go and buy some more popcorn for that.
He's going to have to sit in the naughty step.
Yeah, you're going to have to sit on the naughty step and count the spikes.
Yeah.
That's 3 times I've mentioned spikes.
I know. You must have a few about spikes. But no, it was lovely having our meeting with Alana Fiendish, and yes, we had good fun. And I can imagine what some of the people on the table next to us must have wondered what on earth we were talking about.
It could have been an interesting conversation if you overheard them. Naughty Roy. Yes, Dave, I completely agree. Roy, you're very naughty. We're all going to arrange a group spanking for you. You'd probably enjoy that. We don't know which way you would or wouldn't enjoy that. If you wouldn't enjoy that, Roy, please accept my apologies. It was a joke. Have to be careful of the things you say on YouTube.
You can sit on the naughty step.
You can sit on the naughty step. But anyway, so yeah, we've been doing quite a lot talking to people about what we do. One thing lol, gets the spikes. Oh dear.
And Roy got his spikes already.
Lol, get the spikes out. I'm liking this little thingy here. She's getting the spikes out already.
Which spikes would you like?
Okay. Do you want to show the overhead?
Would you like these spikes, Roy?
Well, we do pinwheels. Of course, there's a single pinwheel, and somewhere we have a double pinwheel.
Spiky, spiky, zappy, zappy. That's the trade name for it now.
So, spiky, spiky, zappy, zappy.
There you go, Roy. Spikes. They're waiting for you.
There you are. So, yeah, these are pinwheels. So, where we were all talking about our spikes, and Joanne was doing a lot of enthusing about the designs that they were coming up with spikes, we'd sort of forgotten the fact that we've been doing spikes for a while, and actually these spikes can be quite interesting. Basically, they're pinwheels, which is technical term is a Wartenberg wheel, and they used to be used for checking nerves response, so you could run them up someone's back and you could see where they lose sensation. You'd actually use this one because it's single. And we sort of bastardised it and stuck 2 together, and then you get a bipolar version. There's the overhead camera version.
Really
so this is 1 channel, this is 2 channel. Very, very, very intense. If you like spikes... Oh, God, Urban and Astronomy. Late again. There's another one.
I'm going to be having discussions next time I speak to you on the telephone, young lady.
Yeah, I think... the first question I've got, actually, everyone, is 5 o'clock on a Sunday evening a good time to do a live stream for you? Would it be better if we did it earlier? Certainly, I think a couple of you would like me to do it later because you just don't turn up on time. But we're up for moving it around. Obviously, we can't do it at 5 o'clock on a Saturday because that would clash with Joanne's. And we spend more time looking at Joanne's live stream than we do planning our own live stream. So we can't do it at 5 o'clock on a Saturday. But if anyone else has already got the twin spiky, ouch, ouch.
It's spiky, spiky, zappy, zappy.
Oh. Kren, we're going to have words. Lol, spikes. Spikes bad. Yeah, I completely agree.
No, they're not banned.
So if you'd like us to run the live stream at a different time, please put it in the comments and we'll consider it. At the moment, 5 o'clock on a Sunday, once a month, seems to work with us. And because we also have to take into consideration we've got people over in the US who this is, I believe, Eastern Standard Time will be 12 o'clock, so lunchtime.
Pacific time would be 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, guys, I know you've just got up.
Then, of course, there's our Australian audience as well, which would be silly o'clock in the morning.
Silly o'clock in the evening.
Silly AM.
AM. I mean, we did think about getting up early this morning to watch the racing, but it was like...
That's what Sky calls
10 o'clock. 2 for Eastern, 5 p.m. Well, of course it'll work for you. You're in the UK, and you do your normal live stream at 5 p.m. on a Saturday.
But seriously, guys, feedback would be great, because we do need to change the times. Of course we'll change the times for you. We like having you around.
Just don't ask us to do it more than once a month, because I couldn't cope.
No.
Joanne's team do it once a week.
I'll just bring Gin in. I'll just bring Liz in. And we have the Caz and Liz show.
That could be entertaining. If I bet the people... Our audience would shoot through the roof if we had Liz in every week.
What, the Caz and Liz show? Yeah,
the Caz and Liz show. I'll just press the buttons in the corner. Anyway, the Caz and Liz show.
I'll get Alana to come down, yeah.
I'm not... I didn't hear that. I'll have to go back and listen to what she just said then, but I think it was definitely rude. But anyway. But yeah, we have other people we're talking to. Incidentally, one of the videos we did, which I think I released last week, was if any of you do the BBB... which is the Birmingham Bazaar, which is a fetish fair. I think it's the last Sunday of the month.
Third Sunday of the month.
Nightingales in Birmingham. Great event. It's an event that we started at, just about. It was that and LFF. But I had a chat with a guy called Sean, who now runs Leather Delights. Leather Delights have actually been doing bondagey stuff for longer than we have been doing E-Stim. I think 2002, I think they started. And it was actually started by a guy called Andy, who used to be called the Kinky Cobbler. Great guy. Really, really, when I say great guy, really, really nice guy. Had some great ideas. And sadly, he passed away. And the family then took over the business. And the business has gone from strength to strength. So if you want leather gear, and this isn't leather gear that they've bought from some dodgy place in Pakistan. This is stuff that's actually been made in the UK using quality leathers, some interesting leathers as well. I think they were doing reindeer at one point.
Yeah, I think there's reindeer and rabbit.
There was rabbit, was there? She gets upset every time they eat a rabbit.
No, you can't have rabbit.
You can't have rabbit, but it's
good here. I've got family.
Oh, I've got family here, so I just finished baking.
Oh, what have you been baking? Will we see you on the Great British Bake Off next year?
Great British Bake Off, yep. Definitely like the old baking idea. We just finished here and disappeared to McDonald's, unfortunately. But yeah, if you want to see a bit about another company that isn't E-Stim, then please go and have a look at our podcast. We do audio podcast and a video podcast. There we are, I Make Sex Toys. And I spent a good hour or so having a chat to the lovely Sean about what he does, how he does it, why he does it. He's stolen a couple of ideas from us. He's one of the only companies that we know that actually does leather and offers a lifetime guarantee on it. So if you want to buy some decent quality leather kit, cuffs, harnesses, that sort of thing, Leather Delights.
Yep.
Or if you go to the BBB, he's on one of the... You can't really miss him, but great guy. Good morning. Do it after 6 p.m. after that other rabble lot on a Saturday. Carry on over.
Carry on.
I'm still learning how to get it to come up on the screen. So if I press that and it doesn't come up, he's broken now.
You have broken it now. See, he's broken it. Don't trust me with anything.
Don't trust me with anything. If I hit clear and see what it does,
you'll lose the chat.
I don't know where am I.
He's lost the chat. He's lost his
Good
brain.
morning. Lol. Yeah. It was the button on here that I hadn't pressed. Okay, so a couple of things that have cropped up. Roy Hat, do it 6 p.m. after that other rabble lot. Carry over some viewers. The bit we don't tell you is we tend to spend about an hour after their live stream chatting to them about the live stream. So
that's if we're not in a spa or...
yeah, we're not supposed to tell people that.
If we're not in a spa, having poolside cocktails.
Yeah, it's useful having the separation between the two because people don't want to spend 2 hours watching E-Stim. Well, I might do, but most people don't. So, no. We'll stick with Sundays at the moment, unless someone comes up with some great ideas. Incidentally, we worked out the next live stream is actually on the 27th, or maybe the 29th. 29th, which is on the Christmas break. So there will be a live stream. We are planning to do the live stream.
There might be
we might be little drinky poos, which will be entertaining because I don't drink normally. But Christmas, it's Christmas.
We'll have drinky poos.
But yeah, so Christmas there will be a live stream and there could be some interesting stuff going on. And let's catch up on some of the kit.
Hello from Albuquerque.
Hello from Albuquerque.
Hello New Mexico. How are you down there today? Press the button on yours.
Good morning from Albuquerque. I can't pronounce that, but it does look Mexican.
Yeah.
Looks vaguely Aztec-y.
It does. Good morning, Albuquerque.
Good morning, Albuquerque. Thank you for visiting us over here in sunny UK. Although it's not really sunny, it's snowing and
it's wet and miserable.
So hopefully the weather over there is a little bit better. Yeah, anyway, you've got your fishbowl. Caz has a fishbowl.
I have the fishbowl.
So the fishbowl. The idea of the fishbowl is we've asked people to ask questions. And we then attempt to answer them, and we stick them into a fishbowl. Luckily enough, there are no fish in said fishbowl.
No,
if there were, put the fishbowl there so it doesn't make funny noises. Do you like our mats? So if I go to the overhead camera, there we are. We have this mat now. So mainly so we know where to put things. So we're doing little demos, and we've got a close-up camera. Look, there we are, close-up camera.
You can't put things here on the table because people will see.
Yeah. The other problem we have is we had a little issue with one of our cameras, and the mount started doing this. But that's probably because we bought it from Temmel, and yeah, we won't mention
the sofa.
The sofa, which we've been watering. Yep, it's an Aztec god. Press that button there. I'm actually going to go and have a look later and see which one. But welcome. So,
shall we have a fish in the bowl?
Should we get rid of the spikes first?
Okay. What do you put? No spikes.
No spikes.
Okay. Number one question.
Number one. Are you answering them or I answering?
I'm answering them, you answering them. So, number one question. Now, all these are genuine questions. My sub is in chastity 24/7. Is there any way I can use E-Stim on them while they are locked in their cage?
I think the honest answer is they don't really have a choice. You can do what you like. Yeah, if you're using a chastity cage, yes, you can use E-Stim. There are a number of ways of doing it. You can use insertables, because let's face it, chastity cage, generally, if it's just encompassing the genitals, you can stick something up the bottom. If you want to use it in conjunction with a chastity cage, then there's a number of options. To a certain extent, it depends on the style and the design of a chastity cage. There is the Public Enemy #1, which has popped up in the past, which actually has contacts built into it, and sometimes that is okay. The contacts are actually conductive rubber, and they're not great conductive rubber. And I've also heard issues with the cage actually splitting at times, but we hear they might have changed the design of it. You probably can't do sounding because of the way the sounds are built and the fact that normally most chastity cages have some form of blocking on the front. Conductive rubber loops, if you can get them in and around, so you get that element of 2 contact points. Sticky pads. And obviously you can use anything around that chastity cage, so anything that's not sort of the genitals, so inner thighs, buttocks, I've already mentioned insertables. So the answer is yes, you can. We actually do an E-Stim remote plug here. We're allowed to plug things, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is an E-Stim channel.
Exactly.
It's all about E-Stim systems. We did get criticised for doing a video that wasn't marked as a promotion because we were plugging things. It was like, well, it is on a channel called E-Stim Systems, and it's about E-Stim Systems. But anyway, the remote, small little box. Do we have a remote floating around?
Probably.
No, we don't have a remote floating around. Next time we'll have a remote floating around. But basically, small little remote control box with a little tiny key fob, and you can wire them up in the house, round and about. If you're getting bored and you want to zap them, just press the key fob and watch them jump through the ceiling. And yeah, they're still under control. So, simple answer is yes. If they've got a E-Stim remote, then you can control them. Next question.
I had a bad experience with a violet wand, which has made me nervous about using E-Stim. What is the main difference between E-Stim and violet wands?
Main difference between E-Stim and violet wands? Big box, little box. No, basically violet wands tend to be high voltage, low current. E-Stim tends to be low voltage, higher current. And when I say high voltage, you're talking tens of thousands of volts, because basically it's a control box normally attached to a handle of some description with a glass electrode, and the voltage is high enough to ionize the gas inside the electrode, and you get sparks coming off the top. Very, very visual. Generates quite a lot of ozone, so you get that ozony smell. You can cause little tiny burns.
Did you say sparks or spikes?
I said sparks, not spikes.
Yeah.
You can cause little tiny burns, and one of the big problems with them, the really nice violet wands were built in early 1900s and before, because they were effectively quack use of electricity. They were designed to enhance hair growth or enhance other things, and they fell into that area of it's just quack medicine, but it looks good. And the problem is you're now working with electronics. Now we're in 2024. You're working with electronics and capacitors and inductors which were made potentially 100 years ago. they're not going to be up to the same safety standards that we have to operate to. And you're going to have things like capacitors which have got a wax filling. If you use them too long, they melt and all the filling comes out, and then you end up with high voltage floating around. So it's quite difficult to get actual violet wands which are safe to use in the UK or safe to use in any country. What you really need to do is go and find yourself someone who does renovations of violet wands. There's a handful of people out there who do it. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but we have.
Nick and Morphia, I think.
We used to know someone called Nick and Morphia, used to be at the BBB. I don't know if they still are.
There are a few other companies around.
But there are a few other companies. And the more modern ones are actually gas detectors. They're that classic, we've taken something, we've stuck a label on it, and now it's a violet wand. But the more modern ones, in my opinion and my experience with them, they're not as good. They don't have the look and they don't have the feel, and they're just like bzz, bzz,
They don't have the sound either.
and they don't, yeah, they're just, so I'm guessing that many Ds would be an oscilloscope or 10s units here. Electro Wolf, someone who trades at BBB.
Okay.
See if I get that bit to come up. Yep, so Electro Wolf, he trades at the BBB. We haven't been to the BBB for a while, so
Maybe
we
we
don't
should go
goose
and have
around.
a look.
We might go up there and have a look around and see what's going on. But yeah, so violet wands, be careful of them and be aware of the limitations and the safety elements. But I'm not a violet wand expert, so take everything I say about violet wands with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
They're too spiky for me.
I like the look of the idea of bipolar wands.
Oh, right.
I like the bipolar
I
wands.
really like the look and idea of the bipolar wand. Are these just for women or can men use them too? From personal experience, they are very nice. They slide in, and depending on who's got the handle, they're quite interesting. So they are one of the electrodes that are perfectly suitable for both male and female. You can use them in different ways. You can use them on the surface of the skin. You can use them as insertable. But they are turning out to be more versatile than we actually expected, because people keep coming up with new ideas.
New ways to use them.
This one won't come up on screen. I'm guessing that many Ds would like an oscilloscope on a TENS unit to see a representation of what the system is doing. It'd be nice to see a visual representation of the program selected. Yeah. I think I know what you're trying to ask. Could we display what the waveforms do on some way on a box, or maybe even in the manual? And the answer is sort of yes, no. The problem is anything we do in terms of a representation, some people will take it really literally, and we've had this. We've put little tiny graphics in the past of what the waveform does to try and explain that it does this. And then people will sit there measuring it and going, it doesn't do that. It's like, well, it's a graphic about 20 pixels wide. It's a representation. But I'm saying that we are looking at ways of creating things that are easier to use, whether it's on the power box, whether it's things like Commander, Connect. So the answer is yes, there are thoughts and plans. Traditionally, Christmas is actually a good time for me to write code. And yes, I wrote most of the code on the boxes and Commander. Connect, I didn't write. Connect was written for us and by a very good friend of ours. I did have some input of how to connect networks, but I didn't have the level needed to do all the security side of things, because Connect is actually quite a secure system in terms of it doesn't transmit anything to the server that doesn't have to go to the server, and it doesn't send anything back that doesn't have to come back. So I got someone else to write Connect for me. But yeah, Christmas time over this period is the point where I start to look at code again. So there's some interesting stuff on the way.
It'll be another interesting Christmas song.
It's going to be another interesting. What, when you're cooking Christmas? Actually, I cook Christmas dinner though.
Not always.
Not always. I do mean Christmas turkey.
Okay.
Give me the question.
My partner and I love using E-Stim. He's often away for work purposes. Is there any way he can remotely control our E-Stim while he's away?
Strange that, E-Stim Connect.
Yeah.
Can you connect to somebody across the internet? Yes, E-Stim Connect. Basically, if you've got 2B, take your 2B, plug your 2B into a PC or a Mac using digital link. That has to have internet access. That will then talk to our server, and you have a key code that is generated each time you connect. You then pass that to your partner, who can then use their mobile phone, visit a web page, put the key code in, and they can now control your 2B across the internet. All you need is he or she needs internet access, and you need internet access. It's that simple. It works, as they say. So the answer is eStim Connect. And eStim Connect is free. We do not charge for it. You do have to buy 2B, obviously, and you have to buy the digital link. But eStim Connect, that's free.
Oh, there's one for me.
There's one for you. Ooh, I got to answer a question.
You get to ask the question.
Question now is, do we think... Let's move... Live chat.
Has it crashed?
I'm just going to see if that... I don't know. Yeah, it's still working. Good. Just checking.
Just checking we haven't bored anybody.
Oh, we've still got 28 people listening.
28 people, wow.
I love using vibrators and have become very curious about using eStim. What would you recommend as a good starting point for women?
A good starting point from a women's perspective, obviously I had a conversation about all this with Liz the other week, would be to go along the lines of the electrohelix as a beginning unit.
Here's one I made earlier.
And something
A pair of scissors.
Like bipolar electro egg, or...
You're going to get the wand out, isn't she? She's got this fan. Oh, no, not a
or
wand.
a flange-based electrode are good starting points. With the bipolar egg, it can be fully inserted, and depending how far up you insert it, depends if it hits your G-spot or not. With the flange, you've got both internal and external stimulation, and on some ladies it does sit against the clitoris hood. And the Helix pack also comes with sticky pads, which are ideal for sticking on your labia lips and your inner thighs as a starting point. So, good starting point for ladies. It's the Electrohelix, or the Electrohelix Red Pack.
Yeah, but the Electrohelix comes in 3 packs. Electrohelix on its own.
The red pack comes
the blue
in.
and the red pack. And then you get into the Electro Pebble, which is a little bit more of everything, and it does sound as well. That banana is looking very...
Sorry for myself.
Bananery. Right, next question.
Next question.
It's all gone very quiet on the chat. I wonder if
I'm
the
going to leave
chat's
that one till
actually
the
working.
end.
You're going to...
You'll see where. Are all your electrodes designed for internal play, or can it be used for external play as well?
The bulk of our electrodes are designed for internal play. Depending on how you play, you can use things externally. So Electro Ones are favourites at the moment. Yep, you can use those externally, just by a bit of conductive gel, and there you are, 2 contact points.
Are we back on spikes again?
We're back on spikes. I wouldn't use spikes internally.
No, what about whiskers?
I probably wouldn't use whiskers internally. There is a whisker floating around.
We have a whisker.
We a whisker. This is a monopole electrode, despite the fact there's lots of little metal wires in the end. So this is single point, contact point, sticky pad or something, bit of gel, and then nice sensual touchy. Still here, we're focused on your discussion. It's just turning out to be like a family argument sometimes. We just sit here talking to each other. It's like, we need feedback to check that we're actually still out there and people haven't fallen asleep.
Focus on your discussion.
What was the question?
Surface play.
Surface play. So whisker.
The other thing that's interesting is a sticky pad on, say, an arm, and a sticky pad on your hand, a bit of gel, and then you can press.
Are we going to be doing live demos next time? Christmas. Oh, that could be entertaining. We might do some live demos.
Might do some interesting press and tease with your hands.
Basically,
your hands complete the
2
circuit.
points of contact, gel. That's all you really need in most eStim situations. So you can use parts of your body as part of that contact. The thing you have to realise, shipping... I'll answer that one in a moment. I'm going to bring it up there.
What's the question?
Press that one. We'll ask that. I'm just about to answer that one. But basically, 2 points of contact. So sticky pad on your hand, bit of gel. That's one contact. Then you create the second contact. The main thing you have to realise doing that is you don't want to put current across the chest. So if you're doing it with this hand and your partner is there we are. One hand to one hand. Not going across my chest, not going across her chest. So don't do it like this. Don't kiss. There is a infamous company, which we're not going to mention, who used to demo, I'm not sure if they still demo, kissing with E-Stim. Oh my God, we've just kissed on TV. It's the first E-Stim kiss. But they would demo kissing. So one person wired up, and then kissed. And it's like, what?
That's it.
This is the basic premise.
We've lost 3 people because we kissed them.
Yeah, we've lost 3 people because we're kissed.
Right, now we're kissing them.
This is the basic premise of E-Stim, is you don't put current across the chest. You try and avoid putting current across the neck because we've got nerves here. It's just really mad. Don't do it. And they use it as a demo, but that's their choice. Anyway, right, okay, question that's good. Shipping from the UK is next to impossible. Are there ways around this? Lenny, the first question is, where are you? Because we ship around the world. Shipping is not as bad as people think. They immediately go, oh my God, I'm going to have to pay customs, I'm going to have to pay VAT. Well, firstly, if you're not in the UK and we're shipping to you, you're not paying VAT to us. If you're in the UK, you have to pay VAT, which is 20%. So the price that you see will be lower because you don't pay UK VAT. And the UK store actually says UK VAT. So if you're in Europe, then the price will be lower. If you're in the US, use estimsystems.com, and the price is in US dollars, and we don't charge VAT for US or the rest of the world. I think the only place we do charge VAT is if you're in Norway.
Yeah.
So firstly, you're not going to be paying UK VAT. Yes, there is a possibility that you're going to be paying import duty, which in Europe is 0. What you're actually paying is VAT to your government, and generally there is normally a small handling charge, a few pounds, and like single figures, to allow the courier or the postal system to process that. That is what you're going to pay. We ship to most countries in the world without an issue, and we do it every single day. We have tens of parcels going into Europe, tens of parcels going into the States. It's not as bad as people think. However, depending on where you are,
there are a few countries we can't ship to for various reasons.
They tend to be countries that have issues with the religious side of things. Yeah. So don't worry too much about that. Although, if you are in one of those countries and you don't want to say, then please ping us and we can try and come up with some idea. Equally, we do have companies in Europe that sell our products. We have companies in the US that sell our products. We have companies in Australia that sell our products. So if you ping us and say, I'm interested in XYZ, can you tell me who might stock it? Then we can generally help you in that way. So if you really don't want to ship direct from the UK, then we can point you in the direction of who might be stocking it. The main thing is there's no guarantee they will stock it, because we don't have any control over what people stock. We don't force our stockists to carry particular items. We just suggest to them that this is what's working for us, and they'll pick and choose what they want for their own clients. Equally, you could walk in there and say, I'd like to order a 2B, and they say, well, we don't carry the 2B, and you go, well, you need to talk to E-Stim Systems because you should carry the 2B, etc., etc. No. But don't feel that shipping from UK is as bad as people think it is, because it isn't. We do it every single day. The worst case scenario is you might end up having to pay a small amount in order to collect the parcel, and generally you'll get messages, emails and things like that saying there's a parcel to collect, there's a fee to pay. It's not massive. We do this every day, so we know what works, what doesn't work. And we have changed couriers from time to time, because when Brexit first occurred going into Europe, it was a nightmare, and we had to work around the systems. What we don't do is we don't misrepresent the products, so they generally get described as signal generators. That's an official way of allowing us to get into the system, but equally we won't miss value. So I'm not going to turn around and send you a £500 2B and accessories and say it costs $10, because that's illegal, and it'll get you into trouble and it'll get us into trouble, and it doesn't actually gain anything, especially if a package disappears. If you're concerned that a package is going to disappear, don't be, because we're responsible for it until you receive it. So if you order from us and the package doesn't appear, then worst case scenario is we'll give you a refund. Best case scenario is we'll chase out, find out where the package is and get it to you, or we'll send you out a replacement. Sometimes that takes a little bit of time, but it happens. It's the nature of using couriers out there. We can't hand deliver everything. I'd love to. I'd spend all my time flying around the world.
And we don't put on the outside the actual items. We don't.
No, we describe it.
Everything's done as plain packaging. It doesn't say sex toys included or anything like that. It is a total plain package. So it's discreet.
Something's broken here.
If
Last time I tried it was conversion from dollars to pounds. Possibly it was okay. Were you using the correct website? Because we actually run 2 websites. If you're in the US or Canada or anywhere that's not Europe, then it's estimsystems.com, and that's the site that we would say use because that's what it's set for, and that will have US pricing. And we tend not to run pricing that changes every 5 minutes because it's a nightmare to change it every 5 minutes. So that will give you a fixed price. It'll be in dollars. Shipping to the US, no issues with shipping to the US. We do it all the time.
you can change the US site to Australian dollars or Canadian dollars as well.
Yeah. If in the US, 665 Leather is having a sale and free shipping. There you are, 665. Great friends of ours. Contact them and see what they've got in stock. And they appear to be having a sale. Shouldn't really advertise that, but...
No, but yeah, they are good friends of ours. Do you want another question?
Go on, give me another question.
Oh, my partner and I are into medical play. Do you have any electrodes that we can incorporate into our sessions?
She's going to say pinwheels again, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually. This is... no, that thing.
Oh, you mean the speculum?
Depending on the type of medical play you like, we do urethral sounds, and we also do
I'm going to do this on the close-up cam.
penis plugs.
Let's move that out of the way.
Let's one of those out the way.
Yeah.
That is a duckbill platypus.
Actually, do you want to move
Let's
those?
move some things out the way.
Well,
Let's do a bit of housekeeping.
I got accused of having a dirty desk, so there you are. That's the duck-billed bipolar speculum.
Ideal for that.
Oh dear. Let's see if it works on this one.
We'll come back to the whiskers.
Okay,
in a
back
minute.
to that one. Some of these things that are coming up. Speaking of whiskers, if you accidentally stick a sticky pad on a cat, does it become a Jellicle cat? No! Do not stick sticky pads on your cat.
No.
We didn't stick a sticky pad on the cat. It was accidental. But yes, medical play, we do speculums, and these are bipolar. So basically this top bill is actually insulated from the bottom bill, and you can connect the two together. It's adjustable as well. I'm told these are used in a gynecological manner. Not having had babies, I wouldn't know these things. And yeah, it's an interesting device.
And we do sounds for men as well.
We do sounds. I mean, at the end of the day, in terms of medical, you could probably use anything that's metal and turn it into a medical device. The only thing we don't do is we don't do things like needles. I wouldn't condone using needles for E-Stim play. I do know people who do it. It's not one I would recommend because you're sort of breaking the dermis.
It's fresh skin. It's fresh skin as well.
Yeah, it's very fresh skin. Yeah, not something I would recommend, but people do it.
Yep.
So
Right.
if you do, be careful. Right, okay, going in.
You're going to go fishing this time, oh dear.
Right, do you want to put that out of the way?
I'll put that out the way.
Have we bored everyone? We've lost one person. Oh no!
Bake Off must be finished.
We love using your products and travel a lot. Can we pack them into checked luggage, or do we have to take them as a carry-on? The answer is it's up to you. We've done it both ways actually. We've taken stuff as checked luggage, and we've taken it as carry-on. In fact, I took some of these as carry-on to do a demo, and it was your M&Ms that got pinged. Was it Maltesers?
No, I think it was more going through security at Gatwick when we were going off to, I think it was Amsterdam for the day. Was it the other weekend? And we had power box and cables, and I had one of the Magnums. So one of the Magnums. Oh, I had this electrode in my bag because we were going off for a weekend of fun, and I managed to make the poor young lad at the security desk go bright red because I unzipped my bag, took everything out, got this out. He went, "Can you tell me what this is, please?"
What do you think it is?
So I said, "It's a butt plug." He went, "Pardon?" I said, "It's a butt plug." "But it's metal." "Yes, it's an electrified
It's a
butt plug."
metal butt plug that we electrify.
And he was like,
put it there. Don't worry, it has been cleaned before we used it.
and he was like, "Okay, off you
Okay.
go."
Anyway,
So, yeah.
a question from the audience.
A question.
I have to read it from here because for some reason the software that I'm using to do the little texty thing doesn't do the full length. Is the actual side printed on the sound? I have one and don't know its size. The honest answer is no.
They're not, but generally we go from 6mm up to.
They're 6mm, 8mm, 10mm, or 12mm. So it's that the thinnest one will be 6mm. But if you've got nothing else to compare it with, then yeah, that could be an issue. I must admit, I don't think I've ever been asked for sizing on the sound.
Is that something we could do?
I'll have a think about that one. But yeah, at the moment, no, we don't put the size on the sound. A lot of the electrodes we work with, we tend to we give you sizing, but it's more a case of trying to get people to understand that it's going to be down to how you feel. Is it feeling too big for you? Sizing sometimes gets used as a comparison. So if we talk about a 2-inch diameter electrode, you know what 2-inch diameter is. But if you're comparing it with a dildo, which is 2-inch diameter, it's not always going to be a direct comparison because aluminium doesn't compress the same way as silicon would. So you're going to get a different sensation and a different way of entering. So we give size as a comparison, but we don't, at the moment, on the sounds, we don't put them on the sounds. There's also not a lot of space on there. We could probably engrave them onto the end.
Yeah, so we could think about.
I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go in again.
Are you going in again? I know what's in there. What's crimpet?
Oh, a Karen. Oh, I have to go into that one. Clear. Okay, right. I definitely need to get this little thing. The question from Kren. We have an XL stuffer. Is that an OMG?
I'd be an OMG.
Because of the way we sometimes find it slipping out, if it's not actively causing contractions, do you have a suggestion retention that doesn't break cables? First thing I would say with cables is I would always consider using the right angle cables, so the low profile ones. I would probably look at some form of harness. Rope, yeah. I mean, basically something that goes across it and keeps it in. Underwear, leather harness, rubber harness, that sort of thing.
Bit of rope between the two connectors.
But yeah, to avoid or cut down the possibility of damaging the cables, I'd say look at using the low profile cables because that's actually what they're designed for. Kirsty Misty.
Hello, Kirsty.
Hello, she has a stone. I prefer sounds without any sizes so they can be clean, less abrasive. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think if I put the sizes on them, I'd probably put them on the end of the plug anyway, so they're not going to be down the main shaft, but it's an interesting thought. I'll have a think about the one. Maybe rings around the sound. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking about.
But then when they get confused with the dipstick, bear in mind we have the grooves and the rings anyway.
Yeah, maybe rings around the sound. So if it was 1 ring, it's 6mm, 2 rings. Yeah, that's possible.
That is a possible idea.
We do a dipstick sound. Why do we do a dipstick sound? It's a long story, really, but basically it was down to the fact that we couldn't machine a particular part, so we put a groove into it, and someone saw it and went, "You can do that all the way down." It was like, "Yeah, that's a really good idea." So we did. And the idea of the dipstick sounds is you can see how far you're pushing it down. If you think about, you've got a normal cylinder of a sound. As soon as it's gone in, you don't really know how far it's gone down, unless you're starting measuring the whole length. So we have these grooves every 20mm, and the sensation as you go through is actually quite exquisite. On the couple of times that I've tried sounding and spikes are like two things I'm still a bit about.
Dave Roberts, gaffer tape.
Gaffer
I
tape.
totally agree with you there, Dave. Gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape. Is this to hold a stuffer or an OMG in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not something. Oh yes, I saw this. I should. Thanks, Roy. I should have picked this one up. Tape Banani to the wall. It will be worth millions. Yeah, they have. Recently, somebody taped banana to a wall, and I think it got sold for something like 5 million. Are you aware that story is that somebody ate it as well?
No, they bought it. They're going to eat it as well.
No, but somebody actually ate it whilst it was in there.
You're joking.
No.
Yeah, and then
yeah, we've got the tape. Anyway, time is ticking.
I put banana in tape. There you go. That's worth a fortune.
Some people just spend money because they want to. I've got one.
I think you got one. I have piercings on my labia. Ouch. Can I use this as a contact point? Depending on how...
Have you been watching our last video?
Depending on how fresh the piercings are, if they are new piercings, then generally the consensus has been no, don't use those, because obviously the skin inside where the piercings have gone through is still healing. You can use a piercing
That is definitely out of
as
focus.
a contact point, but it can be very intense. So it's really down to the individual. Personally, I wouldn't, but it's really down to the individual.
Yeah, so the answer is you can, but maybe not. Liz actually speaks about this in the video that we recently did, because Liz disclosed that she has a few.
Yes.
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like, right, okay, stop there. This is YouTube. I'm not sure I can answer this one because does it exist? Can any of your electrodes be used to stimulate the G-spot? Does the G-spot exist?
Yes,
Of course it exists.
Yes, you can.
Anyone who says it doesn't clearly hasn't even seen a woman, let alone
Bipolar
Play
wands
one.
can be used to stimulate the G-spot. Electroleg. Even the triple. Because you can insert it and it can go... I'm dropping thing. And it can go inside the G-spot. So yes, you can use it to stimulate the
yes,
G-spot.
there are quite a
And-
few ideas.
Men do have a G-spot as well. Or is it a P-spot?
I think we call it a P-spot.
So yes, it can also be used to stimulate the P-spot as well.
But yeah, look, we're down to the last. Anyway, do you want to hide that
I'll
one?
have the empty fish. Oh,
It's empty.
so I tell the fish he can have his house back again now.
Nipple stimulation. I love nipple stimulation. Which products would you recommend for safe nipple play? Okay, nipple stimulation. The main stipulation for nipple stipulations is don't play across the chest. So use a box like the 2B, which has got 2 channels which are electrically isolated from each other. And so if you imagine there's your 2 channels, that's one nipple, that's the other nipple. That's safe to play like that because there's no current going across the chest. How do you actually get the current near the nipple? Sticky pads. We do a bipolar E-clip, which is basically a tiny little clip, which can be quite intense, but it is adjustable, so you can adjust how clampy it is, and that has 2 contact points. They are actually gold plated as well, so you can clip them around the nipple.
And adjustable.
And adjustable. I said they're adjustable. So yeah, that's the main thing. But the main criteria is use a box which has 2 isolated channels. The main ones out there are E-Stim Systems 2B and the venerable ET312 and the variations of it. Someone said, you never talk about 312. It's like, yes, this channel is about E-Stim Systems. It's about our products. We will talk about other products if necessary, but we don't sell them. We don't support them. We certainly don't repair them, and we keep being asked to.
We don't support them, but we do a cable for some.
Yeah, we do the odd cable for some. So if you've got a box that has a weird and wonderful cable, and it does seem to be the newer manufacturers who are bringing out new boxes or copies of boxes, I decided we're going to use I've got that socket in the box. I'm going to use that socket, and
But we do adapters, so...
sounds like they gave you a product idea. This is how we get a lot of our product ideas, from talking to people. It might not necessarily be a direct idea, so we're not going to sit here and go, yeah, we're now going to start doing piercing products. But it might start off a train of thought that moves into something else that then generates interest in something, and we end up with new ideas. And yeah, last time I looked on my list of ideas, which is over there somewhere, I had 27 of them, and they sort of keep going up. I finish one, and then another one appears, or 2 or 3 or 4. So there's lots of ideas coming, and we're still developing on the products we currently have. So
And we are open to ideas as well.
yeah, we're always listening to people when they come up with ideas. One of the big problems with ideas is people do come out with a classic, it must be easy, or it'll be really simple if you just do this. And it's like, yeah, well, it takes me 6 months to go through the testing process, developing, getting it on the machines, and that's just for electrodes. It's
Control boxes
entertaining.
take longer.
Ooh,
What have we got?
are there? Let's get this. This is a bit hit and miss. Are there any? I'm definitely going to have to get the
Are there any
text
new
bit working.
products on
Are
the-
there any new products on the horizon aside from insertables? We generally don't talk about new products in advance until a product is sitting on a shelf here or in the office, ready to be sold, that's the point we'll tell you about a new product. We are well aware of other companies who will produce ideas and concepts and expect you lot to pay for them on the grounds that, well, pre-sales, and we've seen it at least twice in the last 3 years. So we generally won't tell you about new products that are coming out until we've actually got the products. If you're one of our test team, then you'll know about them. If you're some of our reviewers, you'll know about them because we send out stuff in advance to reviewers. But suffice to say, we're always looking at new things. So watch this space. If any company that's just sitting here saying, no, we're not doing anything new, we're just going to carry on doing what we do, those companies aren't going to survive for very long. We have to sit here. We have to innovate. We have to look at what works for us, what works for our customers. How do we improve it? That's how we operate. And we've done so for the last 20 years. So yeah, electrodes and insertables tend to be quite quick to develop. Typical electrode is probably 3 to 6 months to go from initial concept testing more, testing more.
The bipolar wand.
Well, yeah, the bipolar wand, 2020, I think the first drawings for that came out.
Yeah, well, that was a COVID drawing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so electrodes tend to be quicker than power units. And also, I'm loath to create new power units when people have already got power units that we're running with, unless they are substantially different or better. So we're not going to expect you to spend £400 on a power unit and then 2 weeks later bring out a new power unit and go, look, it's the newest one, another £400. So a lot of the things we're doing is looking at how we can improve what we currently have. The 2B is the classic one. There is new firmware out there for the 2B. There's new ideas that are currently going through testing at the moment for the 2B, including at least one of which is, in my opinion, and I wrote the code, a step change in the way the 2B operates. I'm not saying when it's coming out because it's still going through that testing process, but it's going to take the 2B from a great box where it is now to, well, I didn't know it could do that, and I'm quite pleased with it. So, yeah.
I did keep you one last question.
How about a metal... okay, let's... why is this not working? I don't like this system. I think I'm going to... Oh, there we go. It's caught up eventually.
How about
Kren, yes. Have you tried adding spikes? No, Kren. We don't do spikes. We leave that one for Joanne.
Joanne does some great spiky things.
How about a metal band which is adjustable, as we see, wire available but contact area minimal? I think if you're talking about things like expandable bands for rings, it has been looked at before. The problem is trying to find something that is going to offer you a adjustment that is going to be practical and effective and is also comfortable to wear. I haven't actually got an expanding band on my watch today, but I've got expanding bands and they just never really work. And metal tends to give you a hot spot anyway. So when we do rings, we tend to do a wide range of rings because it allows us to get much closer to that ideal position. And actually I prefer conductive rubber because you get that stretch and you get a better contact and you can adjust it right to the point where it's perfect. So at the moment, metal bands, yeah, it's something that's been asked for, but it's not something I'm sort of actively pursuing at the moment.
Flexible metal.
Well, it's just trying to get it. If you think about it, it's going to sort of compress and then come out again. So
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Website idea: a way to compare power boxes. There is actually, there's bits and pieces on our website. The problem with comparing power boxes. Let's bring this question up.
Comparing a Rolls Royce to a Mini.
It's that if it's a case of comparing our power boxes, then it's relatively simple, and there is a sort of it's this one or this one or this one or this one. If you're then starting to try and compare power boxes against other manufacturers, that's a whole world of hurt. Because people will look at individual figures without understanding, for instance, output. Output is a classic one. You get a tens unit and the tens unit will give you an output value. But it's meaningless because it doesn't tell you what the loads are. It also doesn't take into consideration the waveforms, the way they're generated. The 2B is a different system to an electrode pebble. It's also a different system to a 312. Many people will compare the 2B with the 312. There are many people out there who love the 2B, don't like the 312, and vice versa. So to compare something and actually give you something that is genuinely useful is really difficult, because if I just give you the pure figures, then on a lot of things you'll just buy a 2B. But if you want the functionality that other units have, then the 2B might not offer that. So it's a case of trying to come up with a way that gives you an understanding as to what boxes do. They're not just, here's a box, press a button, out comes a value. I'm just catching up on the questions, because the questions are still coming. It's brilliant.
I've got one here.
I'll answer that one in a minute.
Yeah, I'll actually say that.
So comparison of boxes is something that we've looked at, and in fact there is there's certainly something on our website. I'm going to have a look. There is a power box comparison page on the website, but that's only for our boxes, and it's looking at functionality. So what am I looking for? These are the options in that box. This is the option in the 2B, Pebble, etc., etc. Certainly it's on the UK store. If it's not on the US store, I will get it on there ASAP, because it should be.
Yeah.
UK store, www.estim.co.uk. US store, estimsystems.com. But yeah, if it's not on the US site, I will get it over to the US site, because it's actually quite useful, because it gives you an understanding as to all the functionalities of our power boxes. So, we had a message retracted. Oh, I wonder what that was.
Sorry, E-Stim mind.
Oh, let's press that one. Sorry, E-Stim metal rings. Morph into an electric chastity device one day. There's thoughts on that one. The problem is trying to create something. Yes, she likes that idea. There's a lot of quality chastity devices out there, and the minute you start to get into something that's going to be worn for a long period of time, you've got to look at how it conforms to the body. And the processes that we use, which is predominantly metal and CNC machining, to get something to conform to the body to the extent where it would be effective as a chastity device, is something that at the moment we're not massively happy that we can do in an effective manner. Even now, we've got manufacturers who are going away from the traditional mouldings to 3D printing. Now, Joanne and Co., they're the guys for 3D printing, and we have had conversations with them about 3D printing bits and pieces. But for us, it's a case of we need to have something that's going to last far longer than a 3D print will last. I mean, we do lifetime guarantee on everything we possibly can. So you're into that, where we could 3D print. I mean, they've recently done their helmet thing, which is called a... Sorry, guys, can't remember what it's called.
Can't remember what it's
Really
called.
nice things, 3D printed stainless steel.
You've got your saddle and something else.
The saddle and the helmet thing.
Toothless nerd.
Sorry, toothless nerd. I can't remember what it's called.
I'll spank him later.
Yeah, it'll come up in a moment because he'll type it on there. But basically, that's 3D printed. So could we come up with an idea that was 3D printed in stainless steel? Yes, we could. Who knows what might happen in the future? At the moment, we've got 27 other ideas to catch up on first. Jet Set Willie.
Jet Set Willie. Thank you,
Thank you, Joanne. Yeah, so if you want a 3D Corona cap, go and talk to Joanne's crew, because it's fantastic. It's 3D printed in stainless, which one of the problems we have with manufacture, we bought our own CNC machines. So we've got 3 CNC machines, 2 lathes, and a mill. And they're computer controlled. They've got multiple axis, and we bought those. And Deccan. And Deccan. We haven't named the other one yet.
No, we haven't named the mill yet.
But a 3D print stainless steel system is even more expensive than one of those. And then you get into the nasty areas of how it's produced. It's got to be cleaned. There's a lot of environmental issues. It's just an area that we've got zero experience with, so we're not going that route at the moment. Who knows? But we do learn these things. Website idea: play configuration builder with a personal inventory of boxes, loops, cables, body parts to help plan, play, and what connects to where and when the current will flow. Or ask Joanne. Yeah, Kinky Misty, that's a great idea. We'll just have a page that says Ask Joanne. Fundamentally, if you have questions that are related to E-Stim and it's not on a live stream, all of our websites have a chat function, so you can chat to one of us. And anyone that you talk to on our site, whether it's via the chat system or it's via email or phone, give us a call, send us an email. But we're all there. We all use the kit. I designed the kit, but we use the kit. So if you're going to turn around to us and say, well, this is what I'd like to do, what do I need to do it? We can help. The problem is there's so many different variations. Even for something simple like electro wand, there's so many different ways of using it. We could be there for hours trying to create something on the website when we can have a conversation with you, and it's very personal, it's personal to you. You know exactly what the options are. We can talk you through them. We can talk about what kit you currently have, because we're not just going to sit here saying buy E-Stim Systems kit. You might have bought electrodes from somewhere else or a power box from somewhere else. We can talk about how that can work with your play, with our experience. So if you're unsure,
and the main thing is everybody's different. What setup?
Everyone is different. Yeah.
What setup might work for you may for somebody else not be the right setup for them. So
here's a question.
Always speak to us.
I see a lot of people using your device, mostly on men. Is that the majority? I'm going to be honest. Yes, the majority of people, the majority of our customers are male. Why? And actually, this came up with a conversation with Liz last week.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly because it seems very techy. It's lots of buttons and switches and there's cables. And from a female perspective, a lot of women look at that and go, no, I don't want to get involved in that. It's
But there are female
just not something that we do.
But there are female users out there, and more and more female customers.
We are seeing more and more. I mean, that's one of the reasons we spoke
us.
to Liz and got Liz to come in and have a chat, because we are seeing more and more people using it, either individuals or pro-doms or couples. And why should the man have all the fun? Why shouldn't the woman have some fun? You've invested in this kit. Why not have an element of, we can play with this. We both can do this. You play in a slightly different way. We've got, let's face it, our anatomy is different. But there is absolutely no reason why, if you're a woman or your partner is female, there's no reason they can't enjoy it just as much as you can. And that's what we've taken on board, which is why we're beginning to try and look at doing more stuff for women and not doing the classic, oh, we're going to make it pink, because we know that's not what people want. People want stuff that is effective, works, and is going to give the desired response. Now, that response might be pleasure, response might be pain. It depends how you play. Because the next question is it more BDSM than mainstream? And the answer is, again, no. Yes, it's effective at BDSM play, but equally, it's effective using norm play. It can be used in a very sensual manner. So there's so many options, there's so many opportunities to do things in different ways. That's why E-Stim is so magical. And we've been doing it for 20 years, and we're still learning about how other people use our kit. And we get ideas from that.
And we're still experimenting ourselves.
And we're still experimenting. We're still coming up with new ideas and ways of playing. And it's not just, oh, I can make that, I can sell it. It's actually, no, I really like this. I'm enjoying doing this. So the answer is, yeah, at the moment, the bulk of people, it's probably male. But there's more and more women coming on board and actually realising that this is something that's going to give pleasure. And not just pleasure, but pleasure that they can control. It can be deeper, it can be more meaningful. It's not just a button where you press and blah, 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 blah. That's it.
It doesn't go from...
as Liz described it, a medley.
Low power, medium, high power to medium, you just get to that magic point and it goes back to low power again. It doesn't do that. E-Stim for women is definitely more...
Joanne, I love playing with all E-Stim kit as Dub Sub are. Yeah. We are seeing and hearing from more and more women who are coming in and saying, we actually play with this kit ourselves. And it's great. And we're listening to people, we're talking to people, finding out what works for them. I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you what might work for you based on my experience of whatever position you're in, but I'm not going to tell you it's going to be perfect every time. I'm not going to tell you... I don't know you. I don't know what works for you. I can just give you guidance. And from a female perspective, This is where Caz comes in. Kay, Liz, Joanne, there's so many people coming into the E-Stim world who actually play with the kit. In the past, it was a young lady with large boobies who'd sit in, hello everybody, yes, this is E-Stim, this is an E-Stim box, hello, yeah, right, it's going to make cum. That was it. Now, we're talking to people about real experience, what really works for them. And it's fantastic. It's brilliant. I just love it. It's great. Right, I'm going to answer this question. Because we've gone an hour and 10 minutes. Wow.
I know, right.
And we're still going.
This is the ultimate question. And this is one we've been asked.
How many times have we been asked this question this week?
In the last 10 days, 15.
The question is, with Black Friday coming up, will you be offering any discounts on your products? What's Black Friday? My answer to that is... Oh, we have another question there. I'll just answer the other question. Jim, how does your Helix differ from over-the-counter TENS unit?
More functionality, more control, slightly more powerful. Bear in mind, when I had my first TENS machine, I maxed it. And it just wasn't powerful enough for me. It's definitely more powerful than a standard over-the-counter TENS machine. You've got the functionality, so on the Helix, on most TENS machines, you either have a pulse-in or a continuous mode, whereas on the Helix, you've got Tease and Torment, they've got it now. Fire.
Let me have a look.
We've got 5.
Pulse, flow, fire, milk and tease.
So we've got 5 modes on the Helix. You can control how the output feels. So on a normal over-the-counter TENS machine, all you're going to get is that real spiky sensation, whereas with the Helix, you can make the pulses smoother, and you can make the pulses come faster or slower.
Okay. I'm just going to get a cup of tea.
So yeah, so how does it vary?
Can I answer it now?
Yeah.
How does your Helix differ from the TENS unit? Yeah, it's better. The honest answer is yes, it is better. However, I will say that if you're concerned about price, and a lot of people are when they look at our kit and look at TENS units and things,
Try it.
and you're not sure about E-Stim, try TENS unit. Because TENS unit will give you the basics. It'll give you the initial understanding as to this is what it feels like. Then when you move on to something like a Helix or an electro pebble, suddenly you've gone from riding a bicycle to driving a Maserati.
You've gone from
It's not necessarily a good thing,
You've gone from needing
Maserati.
stabilisers to not needing
Yeah,
stabilisers.
you've gone from, okay, that's what it feels like. Now, I've got more control, I've got a wider range, I've got more programs to play with, I don't have things that turn off after 30 minutes because it's a treatment. It's just that it's going to work much better and feel much better. So that's the difference.
Have we got more questions?
When you get another question, the questions keep coming in, and I'm going to stay here until we've answered them all. When you get the 10mm Ultra Dipstick back in stock?
They are now back in stock.
They should now be back in stock, is the answer. If they're not back in stock, order one. In the notes, mention the fact that you were on the live stream, and we'll get one sorted for you. We have ways. The big problem with polishing material is we manufacture it and then it goes out to the polishers. We actually have a company that does polishing for us. They normally do musical instruments and armour, which is like a really interesting mix. But I went down there once and they were polishing a whole range of Conquistador armour for an upcoming film. And they're like, that's armour. And it's like, yeah. Conquistadors. It's like, okay, fine.
So if you put your order in, mention you've seen us on the live stream, and if we don't have one in the build in this,
we'll get one sorted
we'll
for you. We'll send someone down to the polishers to get one out of the.
But they should now be back in stock.
But yeah. So anyway, it's now nearly 6:15.
And you've got to answer the question about the Black Friday sale. The one we've been asked.
They answered the question about the Black Friday
all
sale.
I'm going to say is watch your space.
The standard response to questions about are we going to do discounts or sales is my first answer is go and join the newsletter, which www.estim.co.newsletter, I think. But basically it's on the website. Or watch social media. We generally don't announce sales in advance because that would be a little bit silly and a bit unfair. And that's all I can really say about that one. I hate Black Friday.
Yeah.
That's the 10mm stock.
Any more questions?
So if nobody's got any more questions, we're going to sit here for 2 minutes. Cross your arms. We're going to sit here for 2 minutes and wait for questions.
We've got a minute.
Only got a minute.
Where's the kids on now?
No, we've gone over there. But no, today has been fantastic. I have really... Oh, there's... We've got another question. Yeah, this could go on for hours. They're going to do it deliberate.
Can you use two 2Bs at the same time?
Can you put it on the screen?
Can you use 2B?
Oh, there we are.
Right, I can't read all the question.
Can you use two 2Bs at the same time? The honest answer is yes, you can. You can use them because they're isolated units. Even if you're using on power supplies, they're still isolated outputs. So you can use them nipples, you can use them internally and nipples. It's up to you. So yes, you can use two 2Bs. We have discovered someone who owns 8.
And uses all 8 at the same time.
That's more than me. And I make them. I don't have 8.
I thought 2 was being greedy.
Yeah, 8. Right, okay. Next question is going to be... I'm going to have to answer this one. I'm going to have to sort out why this text doesn't appear. I've searched for advice with my hobby and diabetes and found none. Do you agree? I think the question is, if you have diabetes, can you use E-Stim? Technically, my answer is going to be you need to have a talk for your medical practitioner because I can't give medical advice. However, one, we do know people who use E-Stim with having diabetes. The major issues with E-Stim are heart condition, particularly if you've got any form of electronic device, pacemaker, that sort of thing, epilepsy, pregnancy, and any form of infusion pump. So if your diabetes is treated by an infusion pump, there could be an issue because there's a possibility of the electrical signals could interfere. If it's injecting, etc., we are aware of people who use E-Stim and they are diabetic. But my honest answer is please talk to your medical practitioner and ask them. Most doctors these days are quite open-minded. They know what E-Stim is. They know that everyone has sex. You don't catch diabetes. You don't have diabetes and suddenly don't have sex. It doesn't happen that way. Sex is good. So please talk to your medical practitioner. They are the best place for advice. Unfortunately, the internet is not a great place for advice because you guarantee that someone will tell you, yeah, it's fine. I stick barbed wire in things all day.
100 and more ways to kill yourself on the internet.
Yeah, Creme. T2 diabetic here. Never found an issue personally. No difference. Just be sensible. Perfect advice, Cren.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is, go by what your body's telling you. If you're doing something, it starts to hurt, or you get redness, or you get burns, and that sort of thing. And it is possible with E-Stim, because you can turn the intensity up in certain levels. Stop. Back off. Respond to what your body's doing. If your body's screaming out, going, pain, 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 then maybe stop. Maybe not stick the spikes in so much. But anyway.
Do you like spikes?
I don't like spikes. Anyway, I'd love to thank everyone here who's been putting up with. Look, we still managed 23 people. This is fantastic. I'm like,
wow, you guys.
We are going to do another live stream in a month's time. We only do one a month. Please,
it will be Christmas.
It will be Christmas, and that's going to be an interesting one. Could we have some fun on that one? But equally, Joanne's reviews. They do a live stream once a week. 5 o'clock on a Saturday. Please, please, please go and watch that live stream because it's fantastic. We sit there watching it. We get the popcorn out. They're sitting there eating popcorn watching us. But popcorn, great advice, great products as well. We don't stock their products because we're a manufacturer, but we wholeheartedly love what they do, love their products.
Yeah.
And they hit the same point with us in terms of quality. They're aiming to be the best at what they do. And quite frankly, they are. I mean, from a 3D perspective, they're unbeatable. Their products have spikes all over the place. That's the only problem, too many spikes. But anyway, thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. It's been a manic one.
It's been a busy one. So yeah, we will see you for the holidays.
Thanks, you two, wealth of knowledge. Kinky Misty. Christmas trees. Thanks for the spikes. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Be safe. Have fun. And until the next time.
Bye.
Bye.